Is this heaven?
No, it's a podcast. Welcome to the Field of Geeks podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 109 of the Field of Geeks podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Mitch.
And I'm David.
Dave's back.
Yay!
Wow. Welcome.
Yeah, it's too long. Thank you.
I know, right? Well, you know, it's scheduling.
It seems like September, August. I mean, those are just huge busy months here in Iowa. So,
Well, it doesn't help I work every other weekend.
yeah,
So,
Right.
it happens.
The show itself took like 2 weeks off, but we had our comic episode come out, so felt wise to let that, marinate for a while, if you will. And there's a lot of news to talk about, more news than there was last week, so that's good.
That is wonderful.
But to kick it off, I thought we would talk Venom. This film came out 3 weeks ago. It's starring Tom Hardy and Michelle Williams. I was able to see the film.
Yeah.
And I put a little review out there on our page. I enjoyed it. It was messy, but it's making a ton of money. So
Is it?
I'm kind of shocked.
Good.
But I'll say when Hardy and Venom are together, like it really is movie magic, I think.
Yeah.
Their relationship's really good. And I think it distracts you from the story not being a concrete story. It's kind of a predictable story.
yeah.
I guess before it premiered, 40 minutes of the film was taken out.
Oh, really?
Hardy said this.
I hope that when it hits DVD that they put all that back in.
They'd be wise too. Yeah, because we've had a Deadpool unrated cut. So
Yeah.
Venom, it's made over $400 million
Whoa.
as of right now.
Wow.
Okay.
And it was only a $100 million budget.
Okay, so they're doing
it's-
well.
They're going to make sequels for sure.
Good.
And I think they're going to do even other characters going forward as long as they make the
Yeah.
money. You know, usually when critics bash a film to death, it fails. It, bombs.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
But this is an example of, like, even if it was not critically acclaimed, it must be the popularity of the character Venom. People love that character.
Well, and
I wanna
Tom
see
Hardy's
him.
such a good actor, that it's one of those things where people
That
are just
also
like,
brings people to the
who
screen.
cares what the critics say?
Well, and he does a good job, I think. And Michelle Williams, she's probably underused, but I think that also helps people come to the film to see her. And the special effects are pretty good. There's a few scenes where it's kind of like CG sluggish, But again, $100 million budget.
I've heard mixed reviews on it. However, I've always heard that Tom Hardy does a phenomenal job.
He commits. I mean, there's haters of his, but
Yeah.
I think he's a good actor, and he commits.
Every actor's got haters.
Yeah, of course.
So, but the whole cutting of footage, that always bothers me. Like if you watch The Scorpion King with The Rock, where it tells the story of how he becomes, the Beast.
It's like exposition.
If
They're
you
reading
watch
from a
it, the
book.
movie is okay.
Yeah.
Then if you go back and watch the deleted scenes, because it's all about a prophecy, and every deleted scene talks about the prophecy, about how he's prophesied to become this. The movie makes more sense and is better. Mm-hmm. If you were to leave that in, the movie would have been much better. So cutting 40 minutes worth of footage, it makes me wonder what the movie would be like.
Probably
with it.
slowed the movie down, I'm guessing. And the studio was like, we got to keep the people interested in the film. Da 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 da. I don't know. It'd be interesting to know if it would have made a difference on the box office or not. Maybe it would have hurt it. I don't know.
We've proven that. I don't know how long this movie is, but we've proven that
It's like 80, 90 minutes. It's short.
We've proven that you can do 2.5 hours and people will watch it. I mean, let's look at the Avenger movies and stuff. At least 2 hours. Logan and all them, they're at least 2 hours long. You can do this and keep people's attention.
Yeah.
So you can. I don't know. You probably should have cut just a little bit less out than 40.
Well, and then they do test audiences to death, and any little suggestion, I think they just add them all up, and before you know it, you got 40 minutes out of the film, and it's like, well, maybe those people weren't right, or like Justice League, other films, have suffered from they had more in the film, it would have explained a lot more. Like BVS, the uncut version is much better than the one in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say this movie, it does have those scenes where it jumps, and it's almost like your DVD player's skipping. And that's the way I felt with Fantastic Four. Obviously, the whole behind-the-scenes debacle of that was, expected. Because there's like a massive time jump in that film. And spoiler alert, there's a time jump in this film, too. I still don't know what I feel about the film, It's like, it was enjoyable. It's probably like Suicide Squad, an enjoyable mess. But had a lot of good moments.
Okay.
Hardy helped sell the film, I guess. But I don't know if I'll buy it. I don't know.
I will at very least rent it.
Yeah.
Because I want to see it. I just haven't had time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll buy it only because I didn't go see it in theaters. I've always been a huge Venom fan.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
I loved playing that Spider-Man game when it first came out, in like Super NES, and then Venom was in there and all that stuff. And I don't know. As long as they have the symbiote right and Tom Hardy is doing his normal awesome acting job, then who cares what's around him? I'm just going to focus on that. And it looks like from the cutscenes that they've showed in the previews and stuff, we get that. So it doesn't bother me. I like those films that are like, yeah, they don't maybe stay true to form, but they keep you interested enough to like, if you're on a Saturday morning and you're like flipping through channels, you're like, oh yeah, that's on. Wonderful.
Yeah, it definitely goes back to the films before, like Dark Knight. When that bar was raised, it seems like after that, every film was trying to hit those, peaks. And this one's like, if it was released maybe right before that big blitz of more artistic films, if you will,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can have fun with it. Sure, it's just.
Is it rank right up there with the first Punisher with Tom Jane?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say
Okay.
so.
I like that one.
Yeah, I do too.
I like it, but it doesn't. A lot of stuff about it doesn't hold up. But again, I'm probably more of a snob now than I was then. We've seen these better like Marvel films, right? A lot more money in them and development, and then you got the canon,
right? So
this just goes back to just how they used to do it, basically, before the norm set in. But yeah, it does set things up, and I think if as long as they keep making money, then they'll have a lot of sequels. So
works for me.
I've heard, and I read a couple articles that because Todd McFarlane helped create Venom, and he enjoyed it, but he was sad that it wasn't as dark as it should have been.
Yeah, it wasn't rated R. So
we were talking about a character who literally, like in two separate What If comics, has consumed Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Or sucked the life from him. Like in the Dark Avengers, they had to pacify the symbiote who craves brains. They pacified him by feeding him Skrulls. So yeah, like Todd McFarlane made this creature incredibly dark, and he was disappointed it wasn't as dark as it could be. However, they made it this way so that if they want, you can have a Spider-Man tie-in, and there's got to be 6 or 8 symbionts that you can tie into this as well. And I think if you're going to do it right, you do a trilogy, and the last fight is with Anti-Venom, who can cure Spider-Man of his abilities and cure the symbionts and kill them. So
isn't Anti-Venom the offspring of Venom though?
Yeah, he is. I don't remember the story.
Son of Venom.
Yeah, it is. It's
if you
will.
will.
Carnage is the first offspring. Then there's one off Carnage that's even stronger than Carnage. They all keep on getting stronger until one of them becomes Anti-Venom.
Yeah, Eddie Brock gave up Venom to somebody else. He sold him or something, and he was dying of cancer. And I think part of it came back to him and transformed into Anti-Venom. Then went to somebody else.
Gotcha.
And Anti-Venom sees all the symbionts and Spider-Man as a virus that needs to be cured. So, like in the animated Spider-Man series, when they come across him, every time he touches Venom, like he touches his arm, the symbiote on his arm disappears. It dies off, that part of it. Mm-hmm. So, Spider-Man is trying to keep Agent Venom alive, because he's a good guy, or anti-hero, and trying to keep from being cured himself, and the Avengers are trying to stop him as well, and stop Anti-Venom, and he's a brute.
Isn't Anti-Venom, though, he was first formed with like an on-duty cop or something like that?
I think so.
And then he ended up he was going to be bad, but then the cops said no. He had, mind over matter, I guess you could say, in so many short words, and then basically talked the symbiote into being a good guy.
Well, the symbionts take on the personality of the first person with as well.
Yeah.
And if you read one of the comics, before Parker got his hand on the Venom symbiont, it merged with Deadpool.
Oh, geez.
So Deadpool decided that he could not allow something to suffer by melding with his mind, so he put it back in the container and walked away. And within a few minutes, Parker comes in and gets fused with it. So it's part of the reason why Venom is the way he is.
It's like a tag team. It's like, you're it. Yeah, it's interesting because right now, the deal Sony has with the MCU with Spider-Man, it seems like they're not able to use Spider-Man. So, spoiler, he's not in this film at all.
Yeah.
Not even Peter Parker. I don't know if they could ever get you to, the traditional Spider-Man versus Venom storyline, but I think they're going to do whatever else they can do with the other characters. So that's what they'll probably be doing. They'll be bringing in Carnage and whoever else is in that universe. But yeah, they probably take a few liberties of the mythos of the whole Venom and some of the stuff you're talking about. The movie kind of changes that up. I don't think it's like a bad decision. It's obviously just for the movie's sake, but yeah, it's it's a fun film. Movie news: James Gunn, he got a new job.
Yay!
As we know, he got fired by Disney. I'm not gonna bring up. We all know why.
We all have our thoughts,
and we've all debated it to death. And blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I'm happy about this. He got a new job with Warner Brothers. Good job on Warner Brothers' behalf.
Yeah.
They did something right for a change.
And they could have a lot of fun with this. I think James Gunn has a good sense of humor. I think Suicide Squad, yes, it could be dark, and I think he could touch on that, but I don't think he's going to make it like a kid with ADD, just all over the place.
That movie was just doomed. Like they didn't give David Ayer enough time to write a decent story, and then they had a trailer company cut the final film.
Yeah,
that. It's just.
Don't get me wrong. I'm still
surprised they took
the original
that much
Suicide
risk.
Squad.
I like it. I still like it.
I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. However, I did have complaints.
Oh yeah,
they spent too much time with the Harley Joker story, and you mentioned the Killer Croc, who's a very sad story. Mm-hmm. His entire backstory was they treated him like an animal, so he became one.
Yeah, but
you went into everybody else. Hell, even Boomerang had a 2-minute story about how he was a bank robber.
Yeah,
but a character like Killer Croc, you're doing 2 lines and that's it.
Oh. Who was the guy that was it Whiplash or whatever?
Yeah,
where he explodes. I laughed so hard in the movie theater. Joey, Allie nudged me in the shoulder. Was like, "Shut up!" Because he just goes up and.
Joey called that because there's an animated film. And that's exactly what happens to that character in that film.
Oh, okay.
It does not last long at all.
I was laughing
he was just written in for that
freaking hard.
I'm sure he was. Yeah, that was funny. Just hanging there.
Well, yeah, hey man, you gonna escape? Sure, if you do. Okay. Whoop.
All right, well, lesson learned.
Let's get the head exploding app up. All right, and goodbye.
But wasn't he, his backstory is a little bit darker than just, he's
like a
rapist.
Right.
And nobody touched on that. Nobody touched on that.
I'll have to look him up.
There was probably some, cut scenes, but
probably.
I think forgive me, I don't know the actor's name who played him. Great actor.
He was in Law and Order SVU for a little while.
Yeah, I'd like to see him in more things.
I think he played in Wind Talkers.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yep. I was bummed just because I was like, oh, this actor's finally going to get a break. He's
Great actor. Great actor, yeah.
Off. But each actor, how method they can be, they make up a backstory, if you will. His backstory was he tried to, I don't know if he tried to rape Wonder Woman. He tried to do something with Wonder Woman, and she obviously won because he was in jail now.
Isn't it weird, though, that something like that, they're like, but then you have, the Watchmen, right?
Yeah.
And the Comedian.
Oh, yeah.
And still to this day, I kind of feel like the Comedian was struggling to find the world that he was living in. I mean, we don't have to go delve into it. But,
yeah.
It was just kind of
Watchmen's a deeper
you had
overall.
a different feeling for the Comedian than you would, say, Whiplash. That
right, of course.
Has heads blown off.
Yeah, the Comedian did a lot of terrible things and just in the end couldn't live with himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think James Gunn's going to do a good job with his Suicide Squad 2. He's going to write it and possibly direct it. So
awesome.
That'd be smart.
Yeah.
I think they had inspiration from Guardians for the first Suicide Squad film.
Yeah.
Obviously wasn't as good as Guardians, but
well,
I'm happy for James. I think he's going to do
as
a
long
great
as
job.
Margot Robbie's back,
Oh, yeah, she will.
I'm
be.
sold.
Yeah. And the good news is, Dave Bautista already has said he'd love to be in the film, cast him as somebody. I saw some fan art today, I believe, or maybe yesterday. He's good friends with Michael Rooker.
Okay.
James Gunn is.
Yeah.
He's been in like every film of his.
Except for Scooby-Doo. Was he in Scooby-Doo?
He might have been Scooby-Doo. No, I'm kidding. Shabby-dabba-doo. Anyway, there was some cool fan art of him as Jonah Hex. Wouldn't that be badass, Michael Rooker as that character?
Yeah.
Redo it and do it right.
Oh, they will redo it, yeah.
Yeah.
They've ignored those other films, But, it's just fan casting. But they're friends, so it's possible you'll get to see a lot of them in here. And I think
Slipknot is the character's name, by the way. I'm looking up his backstory now.
Oh, was Slipknot?
Oh, Slipknot.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Moving on with more Warner Brothers news, Joker movie. Now, we've talked a lot about this. First off, Dave, what do you think of the new Joker? You like the look? I don't think it's the final look, but I think it's interesting.
Yeah, he looks a lot better than the Suicide Squad Joker.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping they do something better than that. Because Suicide Squad Joker was more of a meth dealer.
Or maybe a fanboy of the Joker?
Yeah. Than he was the Joker. And I get that the Joker is chaotic and can go any way he wants, but no.
I feel with the guy that we got in Suicide Squad, I felt like a cosplayer playing the Joker, trying to play a thug, and it just, to me, it didn't work. I know that he tried his hardest. I'm not.
Well, and there's still
not going to
footage we
debate
haven't
that.
even seen.
There's so much footage that we didn't see. I'm sure that there's more of a backstory. They screwed it up. I get it. I like this new Joker. I mean, to the point where I'm like becoming obsessed with it. I think we finally have a character that Joaquin. He's always played a character with turmoil to some degree. I mean, We Own the Night was a big one where he had to deal with his brother's death and all that stuff. And I mean, he's always played such dark individuals, and it makes me feel like, you remember when Robin Williams tried out for the Joker and they said, "No, you're too dark." Like back in the original Batman?
I know
do.
that Warner Brothers basically casted him as the Joker just so they could get Nicholson jealous enough to
take the role. But then they said that he was too dark, because you've seen Robin Williams play like dark movies.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie is going to be, I mean, just down to the little, like, where he's got the mask on and stuff, and he's kind of like smiling and laughing.
It's a lot of Ledger-esque.
Yes, but not to like the joking degree that Ledger was. I mean, he had these little ploys and tricks and stuff. This is darker than even Ledger, I think. This is him just being like just psychotic. There is no sense of control. There's no more,
Well, there is no control. Well, in all reality, there is no control to Joker. He does whatever.
Keeps going.
Yeah.
You don't
and
care.
that little laugh and then the eyebrow raise, that sold me immediately. That was it.
That was cool.
I was sold.
Yeah, and I do like he's got a suit on that's pretty neat. Really reminds me of an action figure I had as a kid of the Joker. We've been seeing tons of stills, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a bonkers movie in a good way. I think it's a one-off though.
I really hope it's not though.
No, I would love to see this as a backstory.
Yeah,
and tie this into the DC universe.
This would be like,
not though. It's not going to be DC universe related.
I know this is going to be like if Nolan had control of it, kind of thing. Like we get another Nolan.
Like this is actually set. It's a period piece. It's set in the 80s. It's grim, and Scorsese's producing it. So it's like an Elseworlds, not an Elseworlds, but you know how animated movies and even comics have a one-off story, and it doesn't really flow with canon.
No, it's an alternate reality or something.
Right. So that's what this is.
They both sides have it.
The big question is who's the one that stops him, though? I mean, is there going to be somebody that stops him, or is it just going to show him?
Well, I think there's a lot of mobsters in this film, so that might be. It's definitely before Batman. Thomas Wayne's in it. Thomas Wayne suit up as Batman. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. That would be badass.
But that does bring us to this new tidbit. The Batmobile from the Adam West show has been spotted on set, it looks like. it's been like towed to set.
Okay, if that's the case, then we do have Batman in there.
Well,
and that
I
would
don't
be-
know because that's 66 Batman,
Well,
right?
see,
That's
that
a
would
different
be-
Joker,
But
different type
like
of...
you said, we're playing off canon stuff.
And that would be interesting to see that maybe Thomas Wayne does make a first edition Batsuit, and that's the first.
I mean, they would
first
change up
edition,
things a lot.
Yeah, that would be the first addition to the Batmobile, and then I mean, and if you wanted to play it right, because in the current DC universe, Bruce has been doing this for a long time. Maybe he happens to find all this stuff in a cave, and that's what propels him to be the better Batman. But either way, this could be the beginning of a Batman's quote unquote beginning.
And it could just be like an Easter egg too. Like it could be parked in the background,
right?
Like,
Yeah,
I don't
that too.
Who knows?
It looks like you said it's serious. So like to bring that car into it would be like that's kind of when you see that car, you're reminded of a more humorous Batman.
Campy, yeah.
Poppy, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they would make it like I said, like an Easter egg. Maybe he drives off in it like a getaway car. And they tweak it. They hide the bat symbol and all that stuff. I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting. Like I do want to see the film, obviously.
I'm 100% for it.
Yeah, it looks like it's artistically going to be something special.
Or do something like they did in Clash of the Titans, the remake. At one point they're searching through all this gear, getting ready to go fight.
Oh,
go on
sure.
the Grand Adventure, and Perseus or whatever his name is holds up the mechanical owl.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this? And they're like, that thing's nothing but trouble. Put it back. Well, and he's designing a car to help him get around to fight the Joker, Thomas Wayne, and this is what they come up with is the original Batmobile. And he goes, no, that's too silly looking, or that's too happy. Let's not go there.
I bet there'll be something like that because I could see that car distracting you from the narrative.
Yeah.
Take you out of the seriousness, and maybe that's intentional. Like the Joker is obviously not all there, so he's bipolar. He's like happy and then he's ruthless as hell, and then he's happy again. So maybe that has something to do with the props they use. I'm not sure, but it'll be interesting.
It's just going to be so dark.
Yeah.
It's going to be so amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and
let's hope.
And that's and they've proven that there's a market for that for these really dark anti-hero villain movies or whatever.
Right.
So you could push the envelope a little bit with it as well.
Yeah, it's true.
Hopefully.
Moving on to TV news, Batwoman's been revealed.
Yes.
Promo shot of Ruby Rose as Kate Cain.
I'm glad that she got the role. I think she's had moments where she's been in movies where she did great. Orange is the New Black, I thought she did a fantastic job in. Now there's been some other movies, I think she looks great in the suit. I know that she's definitely easy on the eyes.
Yes.
That helps, I think. But
yeah, I mean, the character itself was created in the comics. She was created as a lesbian. So
she was.
It wasn't like Ruby Rose, they cast her like, oh, since you're gay, we're going to make this character gay. No, this actually was in the comics.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually been... I mean, it's how bad it gets. Like, some people are like, is she gay enough? Because she said she's bipolar. Or not bipolar. Bisexual.
Prove your gayness.
Well, pretty much. She's bisexual. So, of course, people aren't happy with that. But it's like, again, she's an actress. Like, she's going to act. And, there's also, they go into an argument about, if a straight actor, can they play a gay character? Like, yes, they're actors.
Is that kind of like the same thing when people get upset about whitewashing and stuff?
Yeah. Well, that's different to me. Like, if the character is,
like what they did
certain descent, whatever,
Yeah.
yes, I think you should cast accordingly. We don't want to get back to the times where you put makeup on people and stuff like that.
Blackface and stuff, yeah.
Right. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But, yeah, these are characteristics like an actor can do.
I've read that the people are also outraged because the character is not only gay, but she's Jewish, and the actress is not. And the people are throwing a fit about that. And
you can't go down that far
who
of a road.
cares?
Yeah.
Well, anymore, it's stupid.
When you get into a role, you're taking on those characters' attributes.
Yeah,
Who cares what your background is?
Should she actually be a crime fighter then? How far do we want to go here? You know what I mean? Has she killed somebody?
Right.
Because I want someone who's killed somebody to play this murderer. She's not a murderer, obviously, but
I hope they do this character justice on the film because I've read a couple of comics with her, and she's she's more of a Red Hood style Batgirl. Like, she uses guns and stuff, and Batman just absolutely hates it. But she looks at Batman like, yeah, I don't give a damn what you think.
Yeah, she's a totally different character from Batgirl. A lot of people probably think Batgirl became Batwoman. They're separate characters. I didn't even know about her. You can check out the DC animated film Bad Blood, I believe it's called.
I've got it. I haven't watched it yet.
She's featured in it, and I think it really would help people get excited about this character. I'm excited because I haven't watched Arrow for a while. This will get me back to watching this CW DC crossover event show titled Elseworlds, and there's possibility that she will get her own series. Looking at the costume alone, it's movie quality to me. It looks great. And
I mean, it's true to comics. The only question that I have is the hair going to be a part of the suit?
Yes, it is in the comics.
But, I mean, is it going to be her real hair when she's not, in suit? Or
It's
is
like
it going to be a
Batgirl.
part of the suit?
I think it's like Batgirl. Like, if you go to the 66 Batgirl in the Adam West show, she wore a wig when she was Batgirl.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
She wasn't Batgirl. She had short hair.
She had in a different color, and then when she was
totally different
Batgirl,
color. Yeah. Which is smart. It's a disguise.
Yeah.
It really disguises you. This whole crossover event, it's going to start with The Flash. That's going to air December 9th, and then Arrow 10th, and then Supergirl the 11th. But yeah, I think the costume looks great overall, and I will be tuning in to Arrow. I haven't tuned into any of the CW shows for a while. Just didn't have the time, and, it's just...
Well, it's almost a full-time job now with how many different movies
There's a lot of content
shows
out there. There really is. Yeah, there is. So, other TV news, Iron Fist and Luke Cage have now been canceled. These are Netflix shows. Both had 2 seasons. Iron Fist season 1 was not liked by most.
I'm watching that now, and it's slow going, but I'm sticking with it because I like Iron Fist, so I want to see what they do with it. I've heard the second season is much, much better.
It is. That's why I think it hurts a lot of people, a lot of fans. Like, oh, you're canceling it now? It just got going, And yeah, they rushed the first season. The choreography is not that good, just from what I've seen. It just was like, wow, they didn't have time. It shows.
Some of the fight scenes are slow going, and some of them are quick.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost...
It's probably as they were filming, he got better.
Or some of them, like, he does really... Like, he looks like a martial artist. Like, he knows what he's doing. And some of them he's clumsy, and it's like, no, come on.
They improved it in Defenders, I thought.
Okay.
They had a little bit more time to work with him, and I think they learned a lot from season 1.
And what's not to say that they just focus more on Defenders, and that's why they're doing it?
I don't think Defenders was successful enough for them to do another Defenders. However, in the comics, Luke Cage and Iron Fist run a Heroes for Hire business, so that might be what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's hope that's what's really happening. Netflix is deciding to put them together.
As long as they don't mess with Daredevil and the Punisher.
No, they won't. Those are too hot right now. And Daredevil season 3 just dropped, which I got to see.
Oh, it did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
Stream it now.
I've got TV shows to watch again.
Let's see, we haven't got into the Punisher yet. The wife wants to watch it.
It's good.
Oh, my God.
My wife's one of those people.
And season 2 is currently filming, so... yeah, my hope for these two characters is, they get their crossover show together, Heroes for Hire. That would be smart. But again, the Marvel Netflix deal, Disney's getting their own streaming service now. These current shows were grandfathered in, so the question is, can they make a new show? And this is totally speculation, but if I was Netflix, to make the fans happy, I would take both, characters that their shows probably are not as strong as Jessica Jones and Daredevil, and just put them together, and then also shorten the episodes. A lot of people complain about these episodes there's too many. There's like 13 episodes. Like, if you cut that in half, you got a good solid story, and you don't have to veer off, into just kind of filler plot lines.
Well, with Heroes for Hire, if they do that, they could open it up to other characters. Because the original, Heroes for Hire members is just Luke Cage and Iron Fist. But later on, down the road, you pick up one of the Ant-Mans, you pick up Black Knight, Hercules, Human Torch, She-Hulk, and White Tiger. And then from there, just all kinds of characters. So if you do this right, do a couple of seasons with just them, and then you could add on maybe White Tiger, or you could add on, God, I would hope so, it's She-Hulk.
Maybe.
That would be awesome.
If Disney doesn't want to touch those properties, then I think that'd give Netflix the advantage of using them.
Well, that's
characters.
if they have the rights to She-Hulk, because I know that
Yeah.
I don't know if she went with
the whole rights
with the
thing's
Hulk or
crazy.
not.
It's
I know.
Yeah, because Hulk right now, if they want a solo Hulk film, Universal has the rights, so Marvel couldn't actually make their own film of Hulk.
No, they have to work with them, and we all know Disney doesn't like to share their money.
Yeah, I know. I've been trying to get them to share their money with me for a long time, and yeah, they just want my money. So
Yeah.
and they'll probably get it with this new app. I imagine whenever it comes out, it's gonna have everything. It's gonna have the new Jon Favreau Star Wars series, a lot of great things on it. So yeah, I'll just have another streaming service to subscribe to.
Well, I don't have cable, so that'll work fine. Just
Oh
for me.
yeah. I mean that's.
Are you a
right
Roku
there.
guy yourself?
No, we don't do Roku. I just do Hulu and Netflix,
Yeah.
and then your standard antenna, and then and Amazon Prime.
Yep.
My wife, because my wife's a student, so I get free like right now Batman and Harley Quinn's on there for free. Batman's for this in Sub-Zero, the second one they did with Adam West or whatever it was.
Oh,
So- or
Two-Face.
Two-Face,
Yeah.
That's all free right now, so I'm getting ready to watch
Yeah,
it.
go for it.
Now I've got the Disney Marvel app.
Yeah.
Because my daughter will watch all that stuff. A lot of
yeah.
the stuff that's going to be on there as well as I will. I'm not paying the cable company's prices, but I am willing to pay for the rest of them.
I don't miss cable at all. Streaming is the future. What's
don't
nice
either.
about streaming is you can choose. Like I no longer want this streaming. I'm
Yeah.
getting rid of it.
I have
Cable, you can't do that.
Netflix, Hulu, Prime, HBO now, just because I'm a big Game of Thrones.
Sure.
And then I borrow the DirecTV password for ESPN.
Well, you know what I
from
noticed
my
on
parents, just so I can watch football.
Nice. Yeah, see, luckily I'm not a big sports guy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that'd be tough.
Because I have been asking for ESPN to have their own standalone because they've been whining and
They
moaning
should
about
get that.
drop and stuff. So they did come out with something. It's called ESPN Plus.
Oh.
And that's wonderful, but they're missing everything, or they have everything except for the NFL. They have college football, they have soccer, they have international sports, which, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody in my
yeah.
friends group that watches international sports.
I don't on purpose,
Cricket. Yeah.
but
Football?
I work with a lot of guys from different countries. So during the soccer season, that's all that's on that TV.
Yeah.
And half the time it's in English, half the time it's in Spanish, and periodically I look around the corner to see what they're watching, then go back to whatever it is I'm doing on my tablet.
Yeah.
Well, check out Prime because lately I've seen football games listed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if those are live or after the fact.
You're right. It's Thursday Night Football. They do live stream of that. They just don't have Monday Night Football. And
okay.
honestly, if it would move back to a national network, I wouldn't even
that's
need
right. It's no
ESPN.
longer on ABC or anything.
No, it's
like
on.
that.
The only reason why I need ESPN is just for Monday Night Football. So
Yeah, and
Well, get on
I don't-
ESPN.
I don't
Come on.
see. Yeah, it'll be a while before ESPN does anything like that with the NFL because so many stations have their hands in it.
they do, and
So-
they need to. The FCC needs to come down and say, okay, if it's on ESPN, it needs to be available for all. Well, for the general public because that's a nationally watched show. But I highly doubt that's ever going to happen.
Viewership would have to go down probably, or if they have a lot of surveys come in or petitions, like, hey,
No, I've written a couple letters. But,
yeah,
I mean, I'm one guy, so that shows you the power of my voice.
they're like, cool,
Awesome! All right, we're paperless.
They don't even open it.
Delete.
Oh, that's a nice stamp.
You get one of those canned messages. Thank you for reaching ESPN.
I work the correspondence department. We just shred shit. We don't even read it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Well, seasonal news. Let's talk about, we got some Halloween items. Of course, the new Halloween film just came out.
Yes.
This is what I've heard. It goes John Carpenter's Halloween 1, and then this is I've been told it's a perfect 40 years later sequel.
Yep.
It drops from 2 on off. In fact, apparently there's a joke about the second Halloween.
There's a
movie
little,
in it.
there's a few.
Well, don't forget about Halloween H2O.
No.
Yes.
No, this gets rid of everything. So,
Good.
and I've heard that
Wipes the slate clean.
I've heard that everybody involved in the original thought this was a perfect sequel.
New score, too.
Oh, really?
Halloween Triumphant. It's a reversed theme of the classic Halloween. It's Laurie Strode's theme.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So it's supposed to be. I've heard nothing but good things about this, so we're going to go see it on Thursday.
Most of the reviews have been pretty positive. I saw some yesterday, And I get, I think some of the complaints was there's a little bit more humor, but that's because Danny McBride helped write this. You know, he did Eastbound and Down. He's a funny guy, so, you know, whatever. They've done certainly worse things. I went into a whole Halloween mythology tangent yesterday. I gave in, and I watched the spoilers review, because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to see this, and I just want to know, and I'm not going to spoil anything. But, it sounds like a good film. You know how YouTube can autoplay, so once you watch something, it plays something related to it. So I started watching the making of Halloween 4 through 6.
You poor man.
What a mess.
A friend of mine is a huge Myers fan, and she says that if you watch the first 2 and then 4 through 6 and watch them all in order, it makes complete sense.
Sure.
Now, my problem is you start dabbling in demonic cults and this, that, and the other, giving Jason special powers. And if I want a serial killer with special powers, I'm going to watch Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger. Michael Myers is just a psychopath who doesn't care. You shot me, whatever. I'm still going to cut out your eyes. I never got into the rest of those.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this.
It was entertaining to watch the making of and what they did. Going forward, like if they make more Halloween films, that'll be interesting how they're going to tackle it. Is he supernatural?
Right.
What the hell's the deal here? Yeah, because that's what the other sequels did. They went into that territory. Like, it's funny, I actually been listening to a podcast called Halloween Unmasked. It's a really good podcast, especially if you're a Halloween fan.
Yeah.
And they've talked about Halloween and Dave might know this, he's a big horror fan. Halloween gave birth to all these Jasons and Freddys and stuff
really?
that. Like, all the Jason films are knockoffs of Prom Night, everything.
Yeah, he was first. I think Myers was first, and then they picked up with Freddy and Jason. And then a little bit later, it was Chucky. And Chucky, in my opinion, was original because he's in a doll. However, they've done a lot of doll movies since then, so then they polluted the world with it. But
talking about all the Halloween films, 3 is one where they went off the script, kind of. They tried something new.
Yeah.
Michael Myers was not in it. It was witches, right? Yeah, all about witches. And
I love 3 because the bad guy wins in the end. If you have not watched it yet,
it's got a good ending. Yeah.
If you haven't watched it yet, then you're I'm going to spoil it for you. It's all about this company's making these special Halloween masks. There's 3 of them.
Silver shamrock masks, right?
Yeah. Yep. And it was they just promoted the hell out of these masks. If you watch, and at a certain time on this night, make sure you're sitting there with your masks and to watch the show and see, because they've all got tags in them or something. You're going to win a special prize. And they're just promoting these masks. Well, come to find out, it's a satanic cult that's making these masks. And at this time, on that night, they're going to play a special.
Like London Bridge, they play. It's a jingle.
Yeah, but there's a some kind of harmonics behind it, and it's basically it's a spell, and you're doing a mass killing for in the name of Satan. Well, these kids find out about it, these teenagers, and they try to put a stop to it. And they get all of the there's like 3 stations. They get 2 of them not to air the commercial, but the 3rd station ignores them. So at the very end, the 3rd station's playing the jingle, and people who, like, if you're wearing the pumpkin mask, your head turns into a rotting pumpkin, like roaches and bugs crawl out of it. Just kills you.
Yeah.
Because they get to witness it firsthand, people who are test subjects going through it.
Right.
So the bad guys in the end, they still get a station to play the commercial. And it's all about, Satanists and murdering people and these quote-unquote heroes trying to stop it. So they went a different direction. And people did not like that. They wanted Michael Myers.
It was interesting to do for that franchise, but people who are fans of that Halloween 3, they're making a fan film, and it actually comes out 27th of this month. It's called Return of the Witch, and it's directed by Brandon Tabato, I think that's how you say his name. But yeah, it's actually a direct sequel to Halloween 3. They got the permission from Trick or Treat Studios to use the official masks from the original film. Teaser's been released. It's going to be on YouTube free for everyone, October 27th. So I think it's pretty exciting. I'll check it out. I haven't seen Halloween 3 in the entire film, but I remember when H2O came out, I was like, oh, I want to see them all. You could not find 3. It was tough. And that was before YouTube and Amazon. You go to Blockbuster, RIP, and you couldn't find it. Like, they just didn't have the film. So
I probably have it on VHS. Problem is I don't own a VCR anymore.
Yeah,
so.
it's easy to find now. So,
Yeah.
and you could probably go on YouTube and find all the clips. But as we're talking about Halloween and stuff, John Carpenter recently was interviewed, and he teased a They Live sequel, possible They Live sequel.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know if you've ever seen They Live. Mm-mm. It stars Roddy Piper and Keith David, and basically Roddy Piper's character finds these sunglasses and puts them on, and he's able to see like these humans that walk amongst us. They're actually aliens. The
It
glasses give him...
shows the real world.
Yeah, exactly. And only he can see them through these sunglasses.
He
so-
finds a box of them, so he keeps one. And when he comes back with his buddy for the box has been in the dumpster. Is gone. These aliens are projecting a some kind of hypnotic tone or something, and so
to disguise what they look like. Yeah.
So you see people, and you see drink milk and this and that and the other, but with the glasses you see these aliens, and they're just hideous.
Yeah.
And you see, and it's not a got milk billboard. It tells you to consume.
Right.
Another one will tell you to just reproduce. And
Right.
Like it's all there's a word for it. I can't remember what it's called. Subliminal. It's showing you the real world. So
Like the movie theaters, they show you all
Yeah.
the food, and you're like, oh, I would like a hot dog.
But this is all. It's
Yeah.
a little bit. But it's so. But and so at the end he shuts down the transmitter.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy and this girl are going at it, and all of a sudden, when the transmitter shuts everything down, she screams, and it's an alien. He's like, "What?" And he doesn't understand what's going because he doesn't know it's been shut down. He doesn't know that she can see the
nice.
real him. So
Are we breaking up?
yeah. So
It's awesome though. It's a fun movie. Like
It was
he's
great.
shooting these aliens, and they gave birth to the classic line.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
all out of
Bubblegum, which Duke Nukem
Yeah.
used.
Yep.
So he got it from that film.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
it's a great movie.
Yeah.
And once again,
Great
it proves
line.
it proves that Roddy Piper is one of the greatest wrestling actors there are.
Oh, it's just a shame he's no longer alive.
I know.
Being a sequel.
But
Keith David is, so
well, at least at the time he was. I mean, he's far greater than
Mm-hmm.
Hogan. I'm sorry. I mean, it ended to the point where I'm surprised they can do a sequel, unless it's the us chasing the aliens off or them trying to do damage control. But then who is going to play Piper's part?
it's going to probably take place all these years later.
Yeah.
And, with social media and stuff, like, they could really go into a lot of cool things. I don't know how much Carpenter's involved with this sequel possibility, but he did stay pretty hushed in this interview he gave. But he did kind of hint like, yeah, something might be in the works. Lately he's criticized the Big Trouble Little China reboot, but it's not a reboot anymore. It's a sequel, supposedly. But I don't think he's a Rock fan. Because he was like, yeah, they clearly just wanted to make the film because they wanted something for The Rock. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
The Rock is... I don't know.
At
He's
the
got
time-
his moments.
Yeah,
There's some
yeah.
movies that are just terrible, and there's some that he does good at. So I will say that with each movie, he does become in my opinion, a better actor. And I think it's more of a script thing. I think he probably should be a little pickier.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's done these like San Andreas and what was the latest one? Skyscraper, which was like a Die Hard ripoff, massively.
Kind of. It's I think it's a remake of the original Skyscraper.
Oh,
So
is it?
Yeah, I think it was a burning building, and he's trying to get his family out.
The disaster films. He's
Yeah.
basically doing
Just stay away
that,
from
and
those.
he's doing Fast and Furious. Like, I think he's a very talented guy. Jumanji was a huge surprise. I love that film. I thought it was really good.
We still haven't seen it.
I
However,
think
we're going to
you'll enjoy
rent
it.
it. My wife decides she wants to rent it because she's a really big Jumanji fan. And the fact that they made a quote-unquote sequel without Robin Williams just made her absolutely furious.
They had to, though. He's no longer with us.
And I kept telling her it takes place years later, so on and so forth. And she's like, well, I don't know. And then Kevin Hart's in it. She's like, well, all right, I'll give it a shot.
I think it's worth buying. I think it's a good film, and it's good for kids. There's some adult stuff, but it's not like over the top, and it expands the world in a way. It honors what came before. Like, there's little Easter eggs, little nods, but it's really its own film.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to see the original or like the original. You can totally just come to this one as a fan of the original or just new to the series. But yeah, that was a lightning in a bottle moment. I thought everything just flowed just right, and I think he needs to do more of those. I like to go back into the Carpenter world, but I don't know if they'll give us that. Maybe with this new Halloween, how they try to capture what Carpenter did, maybe there'll be more of a push for this Big Trouble in Little China to feel like a Carpenter film.
Yeah.
But have The Rock in it. I think that would win Carpenter over more. Rock, to me, he's like, thinks he's hot shit, you know? I think he's at that point where he's kind of getting a little cocky. You know?
He might, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I do like The Rock, but I think, you know, you peak, and if you don't adapt to changing it up a little bit, you know, you're going to suffer. And I don't think his standalone films have really made a ton of money. So, you know, it seems like he's got a pattern going, basically.
Yeah.
He does a standalone film, and then he does a team-up film. But yeah, Jumanji was a pleasant surprise, and I don't think we need any reboots, honestly. With like a big franchise, like I could see them if it was like a original film that just didn't work but had some cool moments, they could remake something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
But you know, when you got big franchises like the Ghostbusters or I mean, They Live and Big Trouble in Little China were like cult films. I still think you want to capture what those fans like and expect.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting, you know, The Rock and his ego, if they can actually make something special, which, you know, what they did with Jumanji, Into the Jungle, which I hate the title to the Jumanji movie.
Yeah.
I just think it's corny as hell, but the film, actually, I really enjoyed it.
And I would love to see, it's like, I mean, it will only happen if Halloween does well, but I would love to see maybe a few of John Carpenter's movies maybe get with him involved.
Yes.
Or his company involved. Some of his movies maybe either get a sequel or he'll reboot, but more of his style. Mm-hmm. Instead of going completely... I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Rob Zombie's Halloween. Most people did not. And John Carpenter absolutely hated it. And had a few choice words to say about Rob Zombie. However, I enjoyed it because of the psychological side of it. But I would love to see some more, just more of his style, instead of going completely whatever direction you want to go with it.
Yeah.
And staying more true to his style of filming instead of just doing whatever you want.
Well, yeah, listening to this Halloween Unmasked podcast, which is really good, they actually brought up something I wasn't aware of till now. The first Halloween, they were going totally into the psycho aspect. There was no blood. Laurie Strode was the daughter of Janet Leigh. That was kind of an accident. But yeah, maybe there was some blood, but there wasn't it wasn't a gore fest.
No, it wasn't.
The first one was not a gore fest at all. The ones after were. And this new one, I don't know. It'll be interesting to know if this new one has a lot of gore in it or if it's just...
I think the most gore in the original you saw was when he got shot. And it was just a little bit of blood.
And the knife in the beginning when he's...
Yeah, and the blood on the knife. But it wasn't, you know...
You didn't need it.
No, it wasn't like Jason, you know, the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Streets, where Jason's walking around with 9/10 of the movie with a gory machete, you know, a bloody, chunky machete.
Yeah.
But it was, they made it so you didn't have to. They made it creepy and dark, and they let your imagination run with it.
Right.
Like, where he's hiding there. Oh, no, I guess he's over there. Well, you know,
Yeah.
He's not where you expect. It just,
Right.
I really hope this does well.
That's how I would do it with this Halloween. Like, even get him on board with the score. They brought him in to do the new score for this film. He worked with his son to do it. It's called Halloween Triumphant. You can go on YouTube and listen to it. It's really cool. Really cool what they've done there. And yeah, I think we need more of that. You know, he's obviously older now, but if you keep him involved, I think that helps you make a better film. And, you know, if he's pleased, then most likely his audience will be pleased. So, and I would love Kurt Russell to come back in a Big Trouble in Little China. You know,
yeah, even in the Kansas, just a quick cameo or something.
Well, and what's cool is about that film is it breaks the archetype, I guess you could say. He's not the hero. He's really the clumsy sidekick.
Yeah.
Jack Burton is a clumsy sidekick. And don't get me wrong, though. He kicks some ass and he does, you know, help save the day. But he is second to all the martial arts and stuff going on, which was ballsy, I think, at the time. You know, it's like, oh, he's got to be the hero. And
Well, he was an action hero to begin with, and then they brought him in as the sidekick, and it worked. Yeah. In my opinion.
So it'd be interesting if The Rock can do that, maybe. I don't know what he would play, but it would be very interesting. I'm more excited for it now that it's not a reboot, it's a sequel. So, and again, like with this They Live 2, I think that'll be something really cool if they really bring in all the current elements we have, like technology especially. Like, you could do so many things, and it's harder to pull off now than it was back in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, it was just simpler time.
Oh, yeah.
So, also like to remind everyone, we have 2 Halloween-themed episodes. Not the movie, just the holiday itself. We got Scary Movies Part 1. We had David here and Billy talk about the top 10 scary movie films. We still need to do a Part 2. And then we also did like a 2015 Halloween special, which it was just me and Al mostly talking about just memories growing up. You know, we just had fun with it. It had nothing to do with like, well, there were some films involved. And I actually threw some old commercials in there. It was kind of fun, you know, just the sounds, obviously. And then we did this little goofy skit at the end. Yeah, check those 2 shows out if you want to get in the Halloween mood.
I wanted to bring up real quick that Todd McFarland is rebooting Spawn.
Yes.
He said he's going to push this envelope as far as he can for R-rated, and that when he's done, that kids 10 and under will cry. Like, he's going to make this as hard of R, horror-wise as he can, because Spawn is... anything Todd McFarlane creates is not friendly. But he's going to be... he was disappointed with that Venom wasn't dark, but I see why they didn't.
Yeah.
However, he says he's going to go as dark as he can. This will be... I'm really... and it's supposed to come out, I think, next year. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
This will be just... that his vision come to life will actually do the name Spawn justice.
It's going to be interesting. You know, it's a lower budget. Jamie Foxx's Spawn, and I don't think he's going to be shown a lot. That's going to be weird.
Well, he should be in the beginning, like, as Al Simmons, and then once he's dead, you just don't see his face. He's always in costume.
Well, he's working with Blumhouse, I think, for this film, and Blumhouse actually put out this new Halloween film.
The reboot of Child's Play is not going to be based around a serial killer. It's going to be based around a toy with the AI has a glitch.
It's like a Terminator.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this.
Really?
Like, it's a child's toy with an AI that allows him to talk and stuff, but there's a glitch in the system, and he starts to he just kind of obsesses with death.
It's a disgruntled factory worker. That's what I read. He
screws with it.
He's like dying, and so it's kind of like it's their way of taking the supernatural out of it and introducing like an AI, which is, I think what they're going for is that's the fear now with AI, coming.
We as people have actually created several robots, not connected to any internet or nothing, with artificial intelligence. And if you sit and talk to them, they're creepy. There's one, they had one on a show, and he told the host, that you're my friend, so that when we rise up and take over, I'll put you in my personal human zoo and take care of you. And like, they put a couple of them together, and they talk about dominating the world and destroying it. 2 of them actually within seconds create their own language.
Wow. So
it just, if you really get on YouTube and look up, I don't remember their names, artificial intelligent robots. They're like, it's scary. So, I get they're going this way, but it's, I don't know. I like the serial killer aspect, being trapped in the living doll. So this, I'm not sure how I really feel about this.
Yeah. Again, it may be something they should have just not done a Chucky doll, but maybe a different doll. And obviously it would have been accused of being a knockoff, but at least the Child's Play fans wouldn't be so pissed off.
It's a My Buddy doll.
But you could say the same for, I guess, they've done so many Chucky films, and I think you've had a couple good ones and a couple misses. I
liked them all the way up until I did not like Seed of Chucky. It was dumb. Mm-hmm. And Bride of Chucky added that humor aspect. It was all right, but I don't like the humor. But Seed of Chucky was just wretched. And then, but then they bounced back with like the Curse of Chucky or something. Yeah. And they did that. Oh my God, they did that well. The fact there's a scene where he's walking and smiling, and it's a little CGI'd over the doll. Yeah. And it's just terrifying. Right. And then I have not seen the Cult of Chucky, this last one, but I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Really?
So
seems odd. I know they've been trying to reboot Child's Play for a long time. Mm-hmm. It might be able to coexist with. They might be able to make. I think that kind of falls into the rights category. Like maybe these new Chucky films can use Chucky, but they can't call it Child's Play. So maybe that's what's
I
going
don't
to be
know.
different. It'll be interesting. We'll see. If this new Child's Play doesn't work, I could see them totally being like, okay, we'll just make a new sequel like Halloween did, and we can ignore films if we want. Some films.
Oh yeah, and that's probably usually the easiest way to erase the past. All right, well, we went, we did all this with this character, and this is just wretched. Like, imagine if they put Voorhees in a tutu or something. If you really want to erase it, then you just make a direct sequel off of whatever, whichever one you wanted to. Were the last good one.
Yeah.
So, not that Halloween 2 wasn't good. I felt that it was a perfect add-on to the first one, but you can erase whatever you wanted that way.
They've erased twice in the Halloween saga. When H2O came out, I think they erased everything after the second one, and it was just H2O. And then now they've done that again with Halloween.
Well, yeah. They're supposed to... Well, H2O is supposed to be the end. Like, she finally kills him. And then they decide to make one more.
Behind the scenes, Jamie Lee Curtis was contractually obligated to do a follow-up film. But she pushed for him to die in H2O, and they told her at the end, he can't die. It's in contract. He can never die. So she was like, well, but I cut his head off. And they're like, well, if your character thinks she killed him, that's fine for this movie. But when we do Resurrection, you're going to be... And that's why she's probably not in it long. They really ended it well. But Resurrection was a stretch. Like, Michael Myers switched his mask and outfit with somebody else. and she killed that guy.
Yeah.
And then after the fact, was like, oh my God, I killed this guy. And now she's in an insane asylum. Michael comes for her. It did have some interesting premises with the at the time. It was kind of like a reality show. They had like webcams.
Yeah.
They were going around the house, and Busta Rhymes was acting like he was Michael Myers at times. It was crazy. And
I never saw it.
And then we had the
couldn't bring
reboots.
myself
We
to.
had the zombie films, which, I would see. Zombie honestly should have done his own thing. Like, not even done Michael Myers. He should have just made up a whole new character, I think.
He's hit or miss for me.
Yeah. Same.
And it seems like a lot of his stuff is gore for the sake of gore.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked House of a Thousand Corpses. I really, really liked Devil's Rejects. And I enjoyed the Halloween movies just because of the psychological aspects behind them, which he was not supposed to do. However, and then there's that new 31 or something.
I didn't like that one.
I've caught parts of them, and it's just, I roll my eyes. And
I don't like the dialogue.
Yeah.
It's just trash.
And then with El Super Beasto, the animated movie that he did, and it was just dumb. I don't know.
Everyone's dirty in his films, too. You notice that? Like, everything's dirty as shit.
Yep.
Everything. Every character, it's like they haven't showered in a week.
Yeah. Bathe. Damn it.
Disgusting. I think if he would have made his own thing, took the whole Michael Myers out of it, I think he would have had something special.
He could have done a serial killer movie and gone a different direction. And
why not knock off Halloween? Do your own thing, which he did, but look at Friday the 13th. They did all those. Like, just do your own thing. Like I was saying, if sequels or reboots don't work out, they can always go back and honor what came before. They're doing that with RoboCop, giving you a sequel to the original RoboCop and ignoring the other ones. So
I liked the new one. I enjoyed it.
I did too. Yeah.
So maybe that's the new direction of this world. Is we'll give you a direct sequel to an older movie and do away with everything we didn't like, stuff that came directly to DVD and wasn't worth a damn.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be the new norm. I just don't want them to do it too much.
No.
Like, do it once, make it count. It's going to be interesting how they follow up with this new Halloween film, because people are gonna. I think it's already made, or it's projected to make $70 million this weekend. That's huge.
Yeah.
So
especially for a horror.
There's going to be sequels. The question is, what direction are they going to go into? Like, I know they wanted to bring the fear back with Michael Myers, take the supernatural out of it. So it's like, what if he's still alive or whatever, most likely he probably is. Are they going to be supernatural about it? These slasher films, I think that's what their appeal is. Like, it could actually happen. Unless they're like supernatural, obviously, then it couldn't. But like your Friday the 13th, I really did like the reboot they did. They merged like the first three films into one. I dug it. I thought it was good.
I really enjoyed it.
I like the tunnel system.
I would have, yeah. See, I would have enjoyed it more if I wouldn't have sat down in the theater and had a couple bring their to bring 3 10-year-olds or 3 6-year-olds, whatever, to it as well. This scene where it's Halloween's, or not Halloween, it's a Friday the 13th, so the intense sex scenes. I got to hear some little kid go, "Mommy, what's he doing to her?" Oh yeah, great. That's what I want to experience.
I still remember when I saw H2O, someone brought their baby.
If you're listening to this and you think that it's a good idea to take your kids to a horror movie, let me know so that I can hit you with something.
Well, with that said, we'll be back next week. I'm Josh.
And I'm David. And Mitch is here in spirit.
Yeah, he is. Take care. We'll be back.
Bye.
Bye.